Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Duct Tape Mechanic. I'm back with another free dryer that I found on Facebook Marketplace. This particular one, they're saying that it doesn't turn on. So we're gonna go ahead and do that repair. And so if you like that, make sure you subscribe to my channel for more DIY and tinkering videos. Alright, so just in case if you're wondering where the previous dryer was that I fixed in the last video, that one I already sold. So I was able to sell that within 48 hours. I think right now, due to the restriction in the supply of appliances, you really can't go into any sort of like home improvement store like Home Depot or Lowe's and get the appliance that day. You have to wait a couple of weeks, which is very hard if you need a washer or a dryer. Anyways, that one had a mechanical problem. This one I think has an electrical problem, which is no problem because that's kind of the theme of this channel. Anyways, this dryer is a Kenmore 90 series. It's a very popular dryer. I'll pull this down here so we can get the exact model number. So that's the model number right there. So the issue it's having, I've already tried plugging it in and pushing the start button, and it's just not starting. So if it's not starting, there's three main reasons why that could happen. And one is that this start switch isn't working. The second one is that the lid switch, the safety mechanism, isn't working. Or third, which probably is the most likely, is that the high temperature or the safety cutoff fuse has been triggered. That's a 196 degree Fahrenheit fuse that's non-resettable on the vent of the blower motor. So I'm going to start with there. Then if that is broken, or if that's okay, then I'll move on to the other two. I suspect that the fuse is the main cause of the dryer not starting at all. So we'll start with the easy thing, or what I think is going to be the main issue first. Alright, to check the thermal fuse, you just got to get a putty knife and take this bottom panel off. So with that bottom panel removed, you can actually see the thermal fuse on the housing of the blower motor. If you stick it back there, it's that white piece right there with the blue wires attached to it. That's the thermal fuse. So if you wanted to, you could stick a ratchet back there, take those two nuts off, and well, take the two wires off first and test it that way, then take the two ratchets off, or take the two nuts off with the ratchet and replace it that way. But I recommend taking this entire panel off and taking it off that way. That way you could clean this whole thing, because the thermal fuse just didn't trip by itself. It tripped most likely due to some sort of air restriction, probably due to all that lint. So if you're going to do this job, do it the right way. Don't just replace the fuse, because it's going to trip again in a short amount of time. So technically you could reach back there and replace it, and if you really wanted to, I guess you could vacuum this up that way. But since this is going to be resold, I'm going to take this panel off here and replace it. That way I could clean out the entire dryer easier, rather than just replace the fuse and clean up a little bit in the front. So I'd rather do a more thorough job. So we'll do that. Okay, so to take that entire door panel off, we need to take this top cover off. So we just got to undo some screws back there. The top cover off there. It was just the 4 screws in the back, then just kind of got to pull it out and push it back up. Play around with it a little bit, but we'll undo the light here and the door switch. So it's right here. The blue goes to the motor. The white is the common. We don't even need to undo the brown one there, so that just goes to the light. Alright, so that's done. Let's take this panel off. Undo the moisture sensor as well. Pull that cable there. And then finally, take off the cover for the blower. For cleaning purposes, I'm going to remove the drum, but you really don't need to remove it to change out that thermal fuse. So, but yeah, I'm going to clean it, so that's why I'm going to be removing the drum. But to test the fuse, you just need to have your multimeter in continuity mode, and just and test it that way. A lot of these thermal fuses are just bimetallic fuses, which they have two different metals and they heat up at different rates, and so when they separate, that pretty much breaks the circuit. This particular one is a non-resetting one, so you do have to replace it. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll pull the terminals off right here. It really doesn't matter which, the orientation doesn't matter. And we'll test for continuity. And there we go. Lucky us, no continuity. So that explains why the dryer is not turning on at all. Yep. So we'll put the order in for this fuse, and when it comes in, we'll swap it out. I think it's going to be like $5. So if it wasn't this issue, I would highly recommend checking the start switch and the lid switch. Okay, let's clean this thing up. Alright, so we got this thing all cleaned up. I did the vacuum, then I blew it out with the compressor, then I re-vacuumed it. So now the part has also arrived, the thermal fuse. So we're going to be slapping that on, then putting this thing back together and seeing if we have a working dryer once again. So we already have the leads off. All we need to do is undo these two nuts or screws. That's it. Looks like an exact match. Put the lead spot back on. Like I said, the orientation doesn't matter. And we're all done. So for about $6, somebody threw out a dryer, or was willing to throw out a dryer. But let's just hope that that was the only issue. We'll find out after we put this back together. Alright, I'm going to take some magic eraser here and then clean this thing up. Alright, so I got this all cleaned up. I got it plugged in. Now is the moment of truth. Put it on as stable ground as possible. I'll take this dirty, damp cloth right here. Probably shouldn't put this in there because it's a little bit dirty, but that's fine. Oh, the light's on. It's a good sign. So we'll set this to time dry. Normal's fine. And then press the button. There we go. It's on. On the back over here. Oh yeah. Get some heat there. So it looks like it's working just fine now. So that's another dryer out of the landfill. And hopefully you like the repair. I'll probably try to flip this thing, but my goal isn't really to become a millionaire flipping these things. It's more to save them from going into the landfill, and also help people out by selling them at an affordable price. But anyways, I hope you like this video, and stay tuned for more DIY and tinkering videos.